Hi, Eight of Cups family. Welcome to your May readings. A quick reminder, guys, that this intro will be in the beginning of each and every video. If you are not interested in watching it over and over again, I do provide timestamps within the description box and the first comment of each reading. So if you've listened to this before, you can kind of skip past it and move on to your cards for that sign. The intro is a little bit about the astrology of the month, and it's really charged in May. That's kind of the word that I want to use, is charged. I think we're all really charged up. We're all ready for this change. Now, I've said it in a few of my videos. I don't mean to repeat myself, but it is true. We're in a 5-year and May is a 5-month. So there's a promise right there that there will be changes occurring. As well, with this new moon that moves into Taurus around May 11th, there's a significant shift because we move officially into eclipse season. Guys, I know most of us are seeing the signs. We're seeing the things. We're seeing the changes. We're seeing that things don't fit us anymore, or things that do seem to fit us better. And then there's like that whole hesitation thing. And the month of May actually does hold a lot of consequences. The decisions that you make now, the things that you choose, where you are kind of pushed, and how you react all play a really large role in your future self. So it's kind of important to take these transits pretty seriously. Now, we also have a lot of shifts in energy this month. We're moving from, the wonderful Venus placement in Taurus, where we got, I feel like, a few weeks to kind of enjoy our surroundings, enjoy the things that we have. We got to tap into a more sensual side. I think some of us were probably maybe like, I call it romanticizing our homes, enjoying our family a little bit, maybe getting into new routines, embracing the new weather, and making plans for the future, because Taurus season really is all about the making of the plans. How do we want the future to look? It also played a big emphasis on our values, of course. Things are playing out around us, and it's making us question, do we still believe in the things we believe in? Do we still want the things that we wanted? And as everything starts to make this transition into Gemini, first Mercury and then Venus, and then the Sun will all follow into a conglomeration of planets that are joining this North Node. It's pretty important to understand that May will be pretty revealing. It'll be revealing as to where we're going and what fits us. And there's a need to embrace the new, which means there's a need for the courage to let some things go. South Node, Sag. We're in eclipse season, guys. These nodes are super important. It's really important to know where they're falling in your chart, what areas of your life are being heavily affected by them. And probably the biggest news of the month is, and albeit a month full of eclipses, is the taste of Jupiter moving into Pisces. This is much different than Jupiter's energy in Aquarius. Jupiter tends to expand the energy. It makes it bigger, stronger. Jupiter moving into Pisces is going to have a very different feel. And what happens is Jupiter slips into Pisces just long enough for it to make a square over to that Mercury and Venus. And it starts to tell a story about what 2022 is going to be about. So you want to be really vigilant around the middle of the month. Start looking at the way that things are unfolding. There's a lot of emphasis of this Gemini placement. Now, about a year ago, we had Venus in Gemini go through a pretty serious retrograde period last May and June. We've been here before. We've been looking at these stories for a while, okay? This is not about like the new shocking things popping up. They will, of course. We have Uranus making a square to Saturn, but the ultimate issues are clear to you. You know, and I think a lot of it has to do with our ability to embrace the change, our ability to get curious, to start paying attention to our surroundings. Gemini does have a lot to do with our environments. Gemini rules the third house, and it's all about that creativity. And when you think of creativity and you pair it up with the intellectual, the intelligence of Gemini, you can make a lot of really wonderful things happen. Now, I always say, when I look at the fifth house really truly belongs to like creativity and joy, but it also can make you lazy. Jupiter in Pisces can also make you a little lazy. But all that third house energy gives you the new ideas, the new things that we're creating, the new directions that we're going in. And it's about exploring them. It's about opening up to the curiosity. It's about communicating, of course, having those conversations, expressing ourselves. And guys, as Saturn begins to move into this formation of the second square with Uranus, it's really important to stay true to ourselves and our authenticity. Saturn in Aquarius is going to make you separate yourself from like the group think. And that's super important right now, because part of what needs to change has been over the years of us kind of doing what society, what other people, what other structures in our life expected from us. And now the 2020 happened, 2021 rolls in, and we're like, well, why are we even doing it like this in the first place? You know, one of my favorite examples of this is kind of what happened when we all started to work from home. Like, there was almost a death of the 9 to 5. Of course, it's got its downfalls and it has its bonuses. We could work whenever we want, but we could also maybe always be working. We have to invite the new in, and we have to tweak it. And what this retrograde season is all about is the tweaking. Now, we have Mercury that's going to sit in Gemini for an extremely long amount of time. It's even retrograde longer than it typically is. So you can kind of look at this time, and it won't actually be retrograde until the very end of May. Mercury enters its shadow zone around May 15th. Close to the same time as a new moon in Taurus. We're starting to get things rolling. We're entering our shadow phase. And I just want to tell everybody it's okay to make the changes. It's okay to proceed, because Mercury is going to give you a chance to perfect it, to make the adjustments. It's not like about the big commitments. It's about just trying it. It's about being brave enough to just explore the possibilities. Now, we already had Pluto go retrograde, so there's definitely internal work as far as our power dynamics. Where do we give our power away? This is a time in which we take it back. In other words, if there are people in your life that manipulate you or tend to make you feel like you have to stay in this box, we're definitely in the process of growing out of the box. And Saturn is also going to station retrograde, and when Saturn stations retrograde, it does become a lot about the karmic cycles. There's things that are ending. There's old storylines in our lives that just simply don't fit us anymore. Those bad relationships, the unfulfilling jobs, the friendships just out of, social niceties. And those things are going to get phased out, and we have to be brave enough to embrace that. And by that, I mean it's going to take a lot of self-love. Moving into Cancer season soon. It's right around the corner. And the next several months, like I said, are an extremely karmic period. The summer is an extremely karmic period. It's about the movement. It's about the processes, and it's about getting things started, guys. So really important to kind of tap in to the things that you truly want, okay? It's also really important to break out of habits of stagnation and what's keeping you small. So again, those relationships, those jobs, whatever it is where you feel like you have to kind of dim your light or you can't express yourself. And we're seeing this all the time on social media, right? Like, It's no lie that with Saturn retrograde in Aquarius, we're going to start to see the consequences of what happens when you deny our freedom of speech in a way, okay? There's consequences involved. Where are you denying yourself from speaking up, from standing up for yourself when you see that something's not right or something doesn't make sense or it's not in your authenticity or integrity? I think the next couple of months is like this opportunity to be like, you know what, this is just not for me. And it's not about you and it's not about us. And we're not going to take these things personally. We're just going to proceed in another area where it's more welcoming, where we could have a stronger purpose. All of this is because of our drive for the purpose. Our world is changing. Everything around us is changing. Our priorities, our structures are changing. And so we have to start to realize what really matters to us and what are the things that we can release. You know, if you're miserable in a job, it may be the time in which, regardless of financial status or burdens, it may be time to take the risk. Relationships as well. If you're staying in relationships as a means of security or as a way to not be alone, you could probably expect those ideas to kind of dissolve right in front of you. And when we have Jupiter moving into Pisces, it is really all about the surrendering. It is really all about the dissolving. And in order to fully embrace it, you have to have faith. You have to have faith in the universe that we're all moving in the direction that is right for us. And it doesn't mean that other people are wrong. It just means that this is what's right for you. And of course, when we take that kind of attitude on, there's a lot of people in our lives that can resist this because they need us to be this certain way. And so this is where the friction of the Saturn-Uranus square comes in. And it's about, like, what are you accountable for and who are you accountable to and what really matters. So a lot of self-inspection, reflection that's been going on over the past several months that kind of comes to the surface now. It starts to like really take place in the material realm. There is no doubt that people will start to make the big moves, make the job change, move environments, change your houses, change your states that you're living in, change your political associations. It's all about the changing to reflect who we are now. And if it doesn't come from an authentic place of integrity, you can expect a lot more bumps in the road. But if you're going towards something that is reflective of your greater purpose and your destiny, you will find it to be the path of least resistance. So pay attention, guys. I hope you enjoy your cards, and I do hope that you all have a wonderful, wonderful month, and I'll be back soon. Take care, guys. Bye. Welcome to Eight of Cups Tarot, and welcome to your cards for May. So the thing about May is that it's all about change. We're in a 5-year, it's a 5-month, and it's eclipse season. We're building up to the second Saturn-Uranus square in June. So we're braced for some major upheaval, probably a lot of change that we want to bring into our lives. And we have Saturn going retrograde in your 7th house of partnerships, which could bring in a little bit of a karmic lesson. Remember, it's all about those relationships, and if they don't speak to who you are, they are likely to leave your life. But Saturn doesn't make anything easy, and the things that you have to do have to be done in integrity and honesty and all those Saturnian themes. And it really is about the structure of our life and what do we see for ourselves now that we've changed, because we've all been through these really intense changes. This reading is a little bit strange, and for one, I'm going to go through these cards and I'm going to kind of talk, as I always do, about this general overlook of the energies. I don't like to get too specific because then it doesn't serve like the greater community. But there is a very, very specific story here as well. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. If that specific story does not resonate with you, it's okay. It won't resonate for everybody. You'll know who you are and who it's resonating for. The rest kind of stick with the bigger picture of things, okay? Spirit's making it very clear to tell that story, and I certainly don't want to disagree with them at this point. So interesting here, we have Leo coming up as the Page of Cups. Okay. There is something kind of funny about the thought of a Leo as a Page of Cups, because Leos, your heart is on your sleeve. Like, you are all heart, you are all joy, you are all positivity. And there's something that's a little bit timid and exposed and vulnerable about this Page of Cups. And I'm wondering if it's not about like the emotional rawness that you feel. Okay, so you've got Mars going through your 12th house, which is probably doing a real clearing out of the subconscious. Are you emotionally raw? Probably. Are there things that you're having to look at? Yes. Are there things that you're feeling guilty about? Absolutely. It's all a part of the process. But right next to the Page of Cups, your environment is that of the Chariot. Again, that 12th house, and this is a very Mars-like card, because he is determined to move forward. And I think this is the epitome, or the way that you solve this kind of hanged man energy up here in the corner. And I think this is really all about like what Mars is doing in your 12th house. Now I say that because we have this 12th house placement, the High Priestess, also talking to me about Jupiter moving into the sign of Pisces, which is your 8th house. There's a lot of things revolving or involving like secrets. Now, some of you quite literally are involved in a third-party situation. And most likely the guilt, the hiding is probably wearing you down. Now that's that specific situation that I'm talking to. I think there's almost a longing for the secret to come out so you could be where you want to be and with who you want to be with. But that High Priestess is packing a lot of fear, and the Hangman is telling me that you're stuck, and the reason you're stuck is this King of Pentacles, your stability. If you have any fixed signs, of course you do, Leo, you are a fixed sign, directly opposing Saturn. There's going to be some hard lessons about your stability and your integrity. Now, if you're not in a third-party situation, this could just be like that alter ego that can no longer be ignored. Like, you can't stay in places, relationships, jobs that do not answer to a higher calling, that are not a part of this spiritual awakening. See, there's an awakening, whether it's an awakening of what you want your mundane, everyday life to look like your partners, your work, your job. And then there's a very spiritual side of this as well. There might be a part of you that wants to stick with the tradition, that wants to stick with the idea of like family and integrity and how it's supposed to look and when it's supposed to happen. And then there's like this whole other vibration of like, yeah, but the divine knows better. It knows what you need. And what you need is connection. It's not necessarily about the stability right now, but this seems to be a story, right? Like we're dealing with the subconscious, we're dealing with Jupiter moving into your 8th house. There's a story that you tell yourself about how much we need this King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles is a very good provider. And you could pretty much have all the things that you want and need with the King of Pentacles. You know, it's a job that pays really well. It's the partner or the relationship that can give you the finer things in life, right? New moon trining Pluto on May 11th while you're hosting, you know, Uranus in your 10th house. And this King of Pentacles could also be, you know, a version of you. How people see you. Very strong, very dependable. And yet Uranus wants to kind of get in there and like break all this stuff up. And the new moon is like, hey, here's this light, here's this newness. And Pluto means it's destined, but it also means there's like a power dynamic. Like there's this thing that you love, but are you willing to go after it? The Chariot. See, the Chariot is cardinal energy and the Hanged Man is mutable, and it could stay there forever. You could stay in this place of waiting for it to be like a better time or a better way of telling somebody the truth about what's been going on and the truth about how you are feeling. This Hanged Man is right here next to the bottom of the deck, which is the King of Wands, and like this is your true desire. Like this is who you are, the King of Pentacles, but this is who you are beneath the surface, King of Wands. Just let's take a minute to look at all of this masculine energy. There's either a lot of players, a lot of characters in the story, or there's a whole lot of different paths you're looking at right now. And I think whatever it is, Leo, you're braced to make a move. So we have this King of Wands, which is the card of desire, next to the Hanged Man who feels stuck. He feels unable to go after that thing that he desires. It's on hold for some reason. Seeking enlightenment, seeking answers. This could be listening to tarot card readings or studying your astrology, taking a look at upcoming transits. Am I going to be able to get out of this? Am I going to break free from this so I could be this version of self, so I could feel alive and adventurous and courageous? Like my King of Pentacles lives in a very stone, beautiful castle, but I always picture my King of Wands to be kind of like living in some gorgeous tent in the middle of Africa, like full of like crazy adventure and like great stories. And this is much more about like the living. And this is much more about like the owning. And this Two of Cups could be like the knowing that you want to come together with somebody else that isn't this King of Pentacles. Or this is kind of the integration between these two selves. Because I think some Leos are starting to break free from having to be this. And it's no coincidence that we have this Two of Cups here, which is about the coming together, the integration of things, either the integration of your personalities, which is definitely, you know, Mars in the 12th house. And then over here we have this Awakening card. Energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. Guys, it actually says integration. There's two things that are definitely coming together this month, whether that is a relationship, that means you have to break out of something else. Maybe it's a job, which means you have to leave something or another commitment behind. But it's the integration of the next big thing. Emperor. Cardinal energy. Cardinal energy. This isn't about other people. Like, this isn't about this person or this person. This is about who do you want to be? What do you want your life to look like? Because the Hanged Man and the Six of Pentacles, this is scattered energy. Okay, not always. I don't always see the Six of Pentacles, but here it's scattered energy. It's giving to two different things. Because remember, you're this person. You're in control. And I like that he's wearing red, which tells me there's like an aggression. He's in red, he's in red, he's in red. This is all about taking action. And what do you want to, choosing what you want to give to, so you could balance these scales of who you are. Some of you might be stuck in a career you've been in for a long time, but there's like this other thing that you really love to do. Maybe you've created like a little side gig or something, but the idea of giving to both long term is probably unrealistic. You can't give and give, because eventually those scales will tip. The Emperor says you have to choose. Who do you want to be? What do you want life to be? Stable and fruitful and abundant, or full of adventure and desire? Do you want it to be stable, or do you want to be an employee for the rest of your life? Even, it's lucrative, it's supportive, it's fantastic, it's everything you ever dreamed of. But it doesn't allow you to use that spark. And so just under this Two of Cups, we have this Page of Swords. Now we have this Moon card here. Communication is key. New Moon in Gemini. And we have card number 44, which is a very divine number. Perfect Storm, the courage to step into life. Right underneath this Chariot card, which means it's time to move. It's time to choose a direction. And the universe, Uranus, the eclipses, the perfect storm. Now I see a Page of Swords here. You're a Page of Cups in your energy. And I think that whatever's going on here, whether the truth of the matter is you're putting your energy in two different things and one thing's starting to fall apart, the truth comes out. If you're in a third-party situation and you're giving to both, and yet you're giving more to one than the other, the truth comes out. And it breaks you free so that you can choose your direction. I feel like this is Leo finally saying, you know what? No, this is what I want. This is where I'm going. And I think where you're going is this King of Wands, because I think what we're breaking free from is that stable energy, that structure that's been there for a really long time. The Hierophant, card of Taurus, also deeply reminds me of Saturn, because he is a ruler. He's a father figure. We have this father figure here. We have this father figure here. Although the Emperor tends to be more about self. And the Hierophant is more about like the respect, the integrity, the dignity, the commitment. And to be honest, you have your back turned to the commitment here, and you have your back turned to the commitment here. Now, what I do want to say for some of you is be careful and use compassion, because this Page of Swords can be sharp, and he's not really looking at what he's aiming at, right? Like he's not paying attention. Now, if somebody's in a third-party situation and you're not paying attention, somebody could probably find something on your phone, or like evidence pops up, probably in the form of writing and communication. Communication is key. And the Page of Cups oftentimes does represent having to apologize, having to ask for compassion. There's like a fish jumping out of this cup, like the secret is coming out. And the emotions that you feel from it will dictate the next move. And I don't think it's the same for everybody. And I don't really think it's set in stone. In fact, I think that you're not going to really know how you feel about what you truly want until that secret comes out, until that perfect storm rises up inside of you. Maybe for some of you want to move towards this so bad. And then that Saturn-Uranus square hits and you get afraid and you're like, no, I want to stay here. Be careful that you are not cruel. Be careful that you are not insensitive. Because I have this card here, this card number 50, No Place Like Home. Because I think that no matter how much you want this desire, this adventure, this lifestyle, when it's gone, there might be some moments that make you second guess yourself, that make you feel bad about the way that you treated this. It's all part of the process. It's all part of the Saturn going retrograde in your 7th house. Are the lessons hard? Yes. Will they hurt? Probably. Will there be parts of you that want to go back? Absolutely. Will you go back? I don't know. You don't know. None of us know. And I think it's okay to admit that you're probably going to be back and forth, but Saturn's going to make you have integrity. It's going to make you expose the secret for what it is. And let the pieces fall where they might. Because the worst thing that you could do is stay in this hanged man. To continue lying or to continue ignoring certain responsibilities because of this other thing that you desire. So you got to make this thing that you desire it, or you probably got to give it up. But it's not until you go inside of yourself. And it's also really important, and an important reminder, because we've got this integration, and then we have no place like home. The home is within you. The whole point of everything is all you need is inside of you. You know, I see they're seeking something from here and they're seeking something from here. And what you should probably be focused on is seeking that thing from you, from your emperor state. That way, if the King of Pentacles ends up leaving, you are okay. And if the King of Wands ends up not working out, you will still be okay. Because you're in your integrity. If you're worried that you're going to lose your home or your place in someone else's life, it's because the ultimate lesson you need to learn, the thing that you need to understand the most, is that you're your person. No one can take that from you. And when you start from there, you attract the things that love you for who you really are. And sometimes the truth is we outgrow old structures. And sometimes life brings us really beautiful soulmate-like things. And it kind of shakes us loose. It breaks us free. It tells us it's okay to leave this now. And really the whole lesson, even though the whole time it felt like it was all about this thing that you desire, really the whole thing was about this. Wanting to be you with yourself. Quiet, peaceful. So if you're going to stay anywhere, stay here. Take as much time as you want here. When the storm passes, look around at the things that you have and know that this is all you really need. Really powerful reading, Leo. I'm surprised I got through that so quickly. Again, no, doesn't mean I don't love you, Leo. It just means the message was just so clear and so poignant and so beautiful. It's about you, Leo. All of this stuff ultimately is just all about you. And you being brave enough to be you. All right, guys. Thanks so much for visiting my channel and listening today. Please remember to like the video and subscribe if you're interested in listening to more. And as well, feel free to comment. When you comment, I tap into your energy. I start to pick it up, and I pick up the storylines a little bit easier as well. So it helps the both of us so that I can get you readings that resonate really clearly for you. All right, guys, I will be back mid-month, whether they are mid-month readings or maybe some pick-a-pile readings for the eclipses, but we'll be getting into it. I'll be back very soon. Take care. Have a wonderful month. I love you guys so much. Bye.